you have the Noah's Ark problem. You bought a company that has the exact same sets of assets that you do, so that's all you do is cut everything in half and look for the profit, squeeze it out. That's not what we're doing. We don't have any of these assets that we're buying from Warner Brothers. The other problem usually is a company that doesn't have particular expertise in that business, and they wind up just sucking cash out instead of putting cash in. We have a particular expertise in this business, and we have a strong, healthy balance sheet to keep investing in this business. Now, it is different from previous media mergers, I know that. But I will tell you, I've been at Netflix for over 25 years. We have done, every year we've been successful by doing things differently. And this media merger will be different than any of the others because we actually need these people. We need those movies, we need those series. So we're going to keep them all operating, and I want them to compete with one another, just as if we didn't own them. And it's very common that the teams inside of Netflix compete for today for the same project all the time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Thank you, Senator Welch. Senator Spread.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Sarandos, you are currently the co-CEO of Netflix, is that correct?
That is correct, sir. Yes.
Okay. And until recently, you were the chief content officer, is that correct?
It's been a couple of years now, yeah, but yes.
Okay. Do you think Netflix is a powerful company?
We're a successful company.
Okay. I think it's pretty powerful. That's probably why we're here today, right, to judge whether or not it becomes anti-competitive in some particular way because of the power that it wields. You just said a moment ago that Netflix does not have a political agenda. Do you think Netflix is a politically biased company?
No, sir, I do not.
Okay. Would it surprise you if I told you that, what percentage of donations from Netflix employees and other folks affiliated with Netflix go to Republicans versus Democrats, do you think?
I saw a number published a while ago. It's very high Democrat.
Like 99%?
Could be, yeah.
Yeah. That seems pretty high. Do you think that indicates any kind of bias by the company?
Sir, Netflix doesn't have a political giving arm. It does not have, we don't have an active PAC. We don't influence our employees to do anything, and our employees can support issues and candidates at their will.
Okay. On June 20th, 2020, on its X page, Netflix posted a video titled, quote, "To my white friends, guilt, shame, embarrassment," end quote, and saying, quote, "We need to do everything in our power to amplify that message." Do you stand by that statement?
I have no recall of that statement at all.
Okay, I just read it to you. Do you have an opinion about it?
I don't have any idea what context it's in or anything. It sounds,
okay. In the wake of the George Floyd riots on June 20th, Netflix posted on its page, "To my white friends, guilt, shame, embarrassment." What does that mean?
I think that is an uncharacteristic post that I'm deeply regret if that got posted that way.
Okay, well it did. Netflix also said on May 30th, "To be silent is to be complicit." Okay, I was just reading you some things that Netflix posted at the time. So you don't stand by that statement then?
As I said, sir, we have no political agenda. Posting something like that would be quite political, but
right. I would agree.
Yes,
I would agree
and I would say, I hope that wouldn't happen again.
Okay. Netflix also said on June 10th, 2020, that to implement the BLM, the Black Lives Matter agenda, Netflix understood, quote, "that our commitment to true systemic change will take time." Do you still think that takes time? Are you still actively engaged in this effort?
Again, so we're not engaged in political efforts like that.
Okay. Any longer? You're not. You were, but you're not now.
I can't think of a period of time.
Okay.
I think of the time you're talking about was quite a volatile time for many companies.
I think a lot of people said things they regret then. I'm just trying to figure out if they actually regret it or not. I'm not going to get into your quotes on DEI, but it seems that both you and Netflix both have made a habit of promoting DEI and wokeness. I'll just give a few examples. Netflix content is synonymous for the modern phenomenon of race swapping, both historical and real and fictional characters. Just a few examples. Netflix made Black Vikings. Netflix changed Cleopatra from Macedonian to black. Achilles changed from Greek to black. Netflix overtly sexualizes children in its Cuties film related to preteen girls. You mentioned earlier that you can block for titles. I'm not sure blocking the word cuties would shield kids from the over-sexualized content in Cuties. So I'm not sure that's sufficient enough. Netflix continues to push sexual and gender theory on kids, and maybe this is what was being referred to earlier. 41% of G-rated, kid-approved series contain LGBTQIA+ content. You are the co-CEO. You were the chief content officer until recently. Yes or no? Does Netflix stand by its content production decisions?
Senator Schmidt, we have a great deal of programming on Netflix for all left, right, and center. We have state-of-the-art tools for parents to manage what their kids see on Netflix. You can block anything. What you just described is exactly how it works. You block that title. No,
But why would I block Cuties? What would, if a G-rated movie came out called Cuties, why would I have any belief as a parent that would be related to over-sexualized kids?
That film you're speaking of is a MA-rated adult movie for adults, not for kids. And the larger point, sir, is that of all the American values that we all share, and I understand parenthood is hard, I understand it's a difficult world that we all navigate, but the one we value a lot is the First Amendment. A lot of that is freedom of speech. And,
I get it.
And what I want to do is give creators a place to tell their stories and parents a place to control it.
I have no problem with a wide variety of content. That's not the issue. This is America. But I guess the point I'm making is that your company has made overtly political statements, has moved an agenda of DEI. You have Susan Rice on your board, the founder of sort of Barack Obama's DEI agenda. 99% of your employees contribute to Democrats to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars. Your content's over-sexualized for kids. You're engaged in this very woke programming, overwhelmingly. You do have some other options, but overwhelmingly. So the question before this committee, and you come before Congress, why in the world would we give a seal of approval or a thumbs up to make you the largest behemoth on the planet related to content? It seems as though you have engaged in creating not only a monopoly of content potentially, but the wokest content in the history of the world. So forgive me if I'm a little concerned, not only as a parent, but also that somebody believes that we ought to have a wide variety of content options. There are some, but the overwhelming majority of your stuff right now is overwhelmingly woke, and it's not reflective of what the American people want to see.
So respectfully, if you ask a Netflix member today, or a consumer today generally, how they view Netflix, I think that a proof point that we might be doing the right thing is they talk about Netflix in the exact same terms as they talk about the country. About 40% conservative, about 40% liberal, and about 20% don't know. You can look for and you can search for a character, an image.
But that's not what it is. Those are not the statistics I gave you.
I don't know what those statistics came from.
40% of your content for G-rated stuff has LGBTQIA themes.
So I respectfully don't know how they
we're happy to follow up, and I'd love to get a response.
I'd love to engage with your staff
Great.
to figure out how they
I'd love to continue the conversation. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Schmidt. Senator Booker, you're next.
I'm getting back to the subject of antitrust.
Thank you.
I guess I just want to start with asking for unanimous consent. Maybe, Mr. Sarandos, you and I can talk about it. I just want to enter into the record statements and letters from stakeholders in the entertainment industry, from a lot of respected groups that believe they'd be harmed by this merger, and they include Cinema United, the largest trade organization in the world representing exhibitors and the owners of movie theaters, a statement from the Future Film Coalition, a national alliance representing filmmakers, producers, distributors, and other impacted workers, a letter from the National Hispanic Media Coalition, Committee for the First Amendment, Writers Guild of America West, and other orgs that are opposed to this Warner Brothers acquisition by either Netflix or Paramount, and a letter from the International Documentary Association opposing any consolidation between major studios in Hollywood, as well, finally, as a letter from the American Economic Liberties Project urging the state attorneys general to block the proposed anti-competitive Netflix Warner Brothers Discovery transition. Chairman, can I introduce these to the record?
It'll be admitted to the record without objection.
And I guess my first question would be, why such a universal set of concerns, if not fears, that organizations who represent theater companies, who represent artists, who represent producers and directors, it seems pretty universal to me that people have a level of sophistication more than any senators about your industry seem to be really concerned. Could you shed some light on that?
Yeah, I would have to start, Senator, with the fact that the industry has been under attack for 5 years now. The pandemic, a prolonged strike, production downturn for companies trying to squeeze more profits out of their businesses. Now, we've not been doing that, and we got through the strikes, and we got through the pandemic, and keep producing and keep growing. But anytime there's change, the parties that you just discussed get nervous, and rightfully so. They need to know that people are looking out for them. And we are looking out for them. I mentioned in the theaters, I have been asked to give a blood oath about the 45-day window. I think giving my testimony to you under oath is good enough.
And I've known you personally for a long time, and to be a person of integrity. But I've heard more companies come before this body and make promises pre-merger that so many of them don't follow up. So let me just.
I would also add, Senator, if you don't mind. We have a long operating history of operating the way we do. So I think we could point to our track record of expansion and growth and more, and adding more value to consumers.
So if I may ask a direct question, then will this be a fully exclusive 45-day theatrical window?
Fully exclusive to theaters, yes.
And will this be self-enforced? In other words, if you fall short of that?
That is the industry. It is the industry standard for self-enforcement. However, routinely, movies that underperform, the window moves a little bit. And Superman was a little shorter window, and Sinners was a little longer window, but they still could refer to it as a 45-day window.
And so I guess the trend right now, though, is away from the theater experience. We are seeing a crisis of community in general in America. Theaters used to be, along with other great American sort of institutional experiences that brought people together across backgrounds, sitting in the theater. You and I both grew up with that in a way that I think is a cherished reality. But unfortunately, we're seeing market forces which control companies that are beholden to shareholder profits. We seem to have elevated that form of capitalism when companies in the past used to have many different stakeholders. But you all are a company that's beholden to your shareholders. And doesn't that mean that the forces that are moving against theaters, why we're seeing so many closures of theaters, would be affecting your decisions as well?
No, actually, no. And in fact, now that we are in the theatrical business, we want to win in the theatrical business. We want to make movies that people care enough to go out and see. In fact, in the last couple of weeks, we've done things like we put the finale of Stranger Things in theaters around the country the weekend it came on Netflix, and thousands of people, thousands of sold-out shows, revitalized the theater business for what was otherwise going to be a soft weekend. We've done it in the past with these events. We've released our movies with the independent theater owners over the years all the time. And I think now that this is going to be part of our business, we're going to treat it as importantly as every other part of our business and win. And you do that by making movies that people care about and go out to do. I think Warner Brothers did an exceptional job of that this year.